Welcome back, Spartan fans, to another edition of the MBU Basketball Coaches Show. My name is Trevor Rich, alongside head coach Taylor Jarvis. Taylor, the Spartans are 8-0, 4-0 conference play, first in the Heart of America Conference, and you're tied for the best start since 2018-19.
Yeah, it's a good group. Our philosophy is trying to go 1-0, so we have 5 games, an exhibition over the next couple weeks here until Christmas break. So we've kind of put it in as season number 2 here. And we had a great first season before Thanksgiving break, and now we're going to revamp back up. We got these 5 games, and we're going to try to go 1-0 in all of them.
Let's talk about this week. You have 2 games. Home game Wednesday night against Mission, former AMC foe. Saturday, Graceland, big game Saturday. We'll talk about that one in just a second. But yeah, Mission coming in Wednesday night. What's your preview for that matchup?
So both these teams, Mission especially, they get out, they run, like very transition heavy. Mission will press a little bit. They have 2 guys that are averaging 20-plus points, so they can score with anybody. And they also shoot a lot of threes. So our big focus is going to be making sure that we put pressure on the rim offensively, that we take care of the basketball so they don't get runouts. We get back in transition, we protect the rim, and then we have to have great closeouts, great team defense to make sure we protect the three-point line and rebound. But anytime, it's going to be kind of a contrast of styles. We aren't the most up-tempo, fast-break team. We like to make sure that we execute when the opportunity comes. They are, like I said, very, very fast, very tempo-based. So we're going to try to distort that and make sure that we're not giving up some easy open looks early.
So the Spartans have won 3 straight against the Patriots all time. So we played 4 straight games in conference play. We had that exhibition against SIUE last week. But is there a difference between like how you look at these Heart Conference games versus this non-conference game Wednesday night?
For sure. I mean, they mean just a little bit more. You're always going to get everybody's best performance in the conference games because they mean more. At the end of the day, how well you do in conference dictates your success for postseason, your seeding for postseason. And then at the end of the day, it's the national tournament, which is where we want to get to. And a lot of these teams in the Heart of America, that's their expectation as well.
Last year, you went 2-0 against the Patriots, so you can extend that streak to 4, actually, because he won 3 straight, as I mentioned earlier. Can you talk about, just when you play well against a team like that, how do you continue to push that momentum forward without, getting a little too ahead of yourself?
So I think it's taking it game by game. This game is going to be another one. William Woods did a good job pressuring our point guards. So we've worked on some pressure releases. We've worked on some different ways to get our wings, our 4-man, our trail open. It's another game that we can continue to improve on that. And then on the defensive end, it's another challenge. Like I said, they're very transition heavy. So it's going to be a great preparation for Graceland because they have similar styles of plays. But really, it's just keeping it, segmented. This is the game that we're going to focus on. We have these days to prepare for it. This is what we need to do to beat Mission. And then once we win that game, it's going into the next game and trying to make sure that we're not looking too big picture or looking past an opponent. We want to make sure that the most important game is the one that we have coming up.
And speaking of Graceland, they're 8-2, 3-0 in conference play. So right now the Spartans are in first place in the conference with a 4-0 record. Graceland's in second with a 3-0 record. They just haven't played 4 conference games. That's a big game. The Grandview game that we had last week, or 2 weeks ago almost, was a big game, but this one might be even bigger.
Yes, and going up, Todd, he does a great job with those guys. They were a team that were second in the Heart of America last year, was a national tournament team. They played a very tough schedule. It's going to be a great challenge for us. These are the games that as a coach and as a player you live for. And I'm super excited to get up there. It'll be our first on-the-road Heart test. It's a pretty good drive up there to Lemoyne. There's not many restaurants. That's what I was looking at today. Trying to find somewhere that we're going to eat. I found a little Amish calf that we're going to eat at most likely. But it's exciting. It's being able to travel to different places as well because we haven't ever traveled in my time up there in some of these Iowa schools. So to see some different campuses is going to be cool as well. But definitely very exciting. Wednesday, would love to get the guys and all the Spartan fans out here to make sure they support. And our away game up at Graceland is our first test on the road, the Heart of America, against a really well-coached team, but a team that's been, playing some good basketball as of late.
And the Spartans, as you mentioned, you've never made a trip there. The Spartans have never played Graceland before, so this is the first matchup ever all time between these two programs in men's basketball. And it's two of the best teams in the league. Can you talk about how you prepare for a team that you've never faced before?
Well, a lot of it's film breakdown, making sure that you know their offense, defensive strategy, scheme. They're more of a 5-out conceptual base. They try to make sure they enter with some dribble drive. They play some positionless basketball. So it's really just setting up the guys to make sure that they know what they need to do and what the other team needs to do. And then keeping it simple. Our guys will need to focus on what they need to do and how we need to win, and not always the big picture looming over them of playing a top team that's receiving votes. At the end of the day, anybody can beat anyone, and it's about making sure that you're prepared to execute, do what you need to do, and that gives you the best chance to win at the end of the day.
So Wednesday's still a big game against Mission. Non-conference still important. Looking to extend your win streak to 9 to be perfect at 9-0. But Saturday, that conference game at Graceland. Graceland's not coming back here. So how important is it to go to Iowa and get that win, especially when you're not going to get a return matchup with them?
It's really big just because the schedule is kind of rotating. And, we only played Grandview once, so that was a big game as well. But when it comes down to postseason seeding, this is going to be a big one just because I believe Graceland is one of the top teams in the Heart, and they're going to be a team that I feel like we're competing with for home court advantage late in the season when it comes to Heart of America Conference Tournament. So it's definitely a big one, especially only playing them once. And that's something that's pretty cool about the Heart of America. And you're seeing it, right now, college football fans, it's, the college football playoff. You're seeing it there where, the SEC, they have a rotating schedule too, where sometimes they won't play each other, like Texas won't play LSU or et cetera. And it comes down to some of those tiebreakers. But at the end of the day, if you win, it sets you up for the best spot at the end of the day. So it's definitely very cool and something that's going to be unique and different to the new conference that we're at.
Head-to-head is what is most important, and defeating Graceland could certainly play big in playoff implications down the road. Coach, you haven't lost a home game since January of last year, which is 7 straight home wins dating back to last season. Can you talk about for Wednesday night just what it's like playing at home and what juices your guys to play here at the SRC?
So it's always great to have family, friends, and Spartan fans in the stands. You get that extra little boost. The routine's a little bit easier to have at home. We go through our shoot-around, and the game times are always similar, and we usually have the women that play before us. And most athletes are a little superstitious and a little bit routine-driven, so it always helps having those home games because you kind of know your routine, you know what you're getting into. But at the end of the day, it's the fans, it's the support, it's making sure that we have that because it does play an effect on the game, and having a good home field advantage or home court advantage can definitely dictate some wins. And, the last game against Grandview, I thought we had a great crowd, and it was a close game, and those fans impacted the game. So it's huge to be able to involve the fans and impact that plays out.
And one certain play that I'm remembering that fans made a big impact on after Isaiah Dixon had an awesome dunk in the paint that helped secure the win, and then he returned the favor on the next play, getting a swat on the other end of the court. I wanted to bring up Isaiah Dixon. With my game notes that I'm working on for Wednesday, I'm spotlighting him as our Spartans spotlight for this week. Can you just talk about the addition he's been to the team this year and what he brings to you guys inside?
Yeah, so, we saw it in our exhibition game against SIUE. They had multiple rim protectors, and having a rim protector, especially at our level, is a difference maker. It's something that some NAIs don't have. So him being able to protect the rim and play above the rim can really affect the game. There's a lot of really good players at our level, but it's really hard to finish at the rim when someone can jump and block shots. So that addition has been huge. We just did some film this morning with him, and Isaiah has done great so far, but there's still so much more that he can impact the game with. So moving forward, I would expect even more offensive ability and playing above the rim on the offensive end. I think there's more opportunities. He can get some more dunks. And then on the defensive end, he's just getting started. He's just getting a little bit more freedom and comfortable in our system of going and blocking those shots. So I believe he's only going to have a larger impact with our team. And then the last thing that he does so well is he can guard guards. And that's something nowadays, there's so many positionless basketball teams. to be able to have a big man like him that can defend and sit down and guard guards is huge, and it's very valuable. And if you look around the league at almost every level of college basketball, you have to have somebody like that to go up and match up against some of these teams that are more 5-out or can play guys multiple positions.
He's a defensive player of the year candidate, certainly, as I look at him. And when I look at his domination inside, I like to think of Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
Tim Wolf, former Utah Jazzman. I like to see a lot of similarity in their game.
Yeah, the Eiffel Tower, they called him.
Stifle Tower.
Stifle Tower, yes. Yeah, so a Frenchman. He does a great job, and I think he impacts the game very similar. NBA, those guys are massive, but at our level, height, size, comparison, it's a really good comp between him and Rudy.
I think so. All right, Spartan fans, Wednesday night, 7:30 here at the SRC Mission, Saturday at Graceland. Spartans looking to extend their undefeated start to 10-0 this week, and their best start since 2018-19. We will be back next week here on the MBU Basketball Men's Coaches Show.